Okay, check this out. I'm playing Sackboy on my PS5 using an Xbox controller. This is crazy. I was sent a couple of gaming products for review, this Elitist S game controller for Nintendo Switch, and this R100 USB wireless adapter. This video will cover the USB adapter, but you can find the review for the controller by clicking the card or link in the description. Please know that I did receive these products for free from BigBig in return for coverage, but they had no control over the content of the final videos. I always endeavor to give both an accurate account of what I find while testing, and also enough information so that you can make your own informed decisions. Let's see what's included. Here's the adapter. In short, it's a simple USB Bluetooth receiver, but what it enables is much more interesting. It also comes with a USB-A to USB-C on-the-go adapter. This is specifically for the Switch and Switch Lite, and you'll be able to see that later. I've explained what it is, so now let's explore what it can do. Let's test this out. Here's my PlayStation 5. I'll plug this into the USB port. And here's my Nintendo Pro controller. I'll press the sync button. And they're synced. Now I can control the PS5 with a Nintendo controller. Okay, let's swap this out. Here's an Xbox One controller. First I turn the controller on and press the sync button, then I tap the button on the R100, and there! Okay, check this out. I'm playing Sackboy on my PS5 using an Xbox controller. This is crazy! Besides the PS5, this adapter also works on the PS4, PS3, Windows 10, and the Switch. It can plug into the Switch's dock, but for undocked play or on a Switch Lite, you can use the included cable to enable the connection. And before this will work on the Switch, you need to manually enable USB controller mode from within the settings. This gives me a hint to how this works. The best I can understand it is that the R10's been programmed to pair with certain controllers over Bluetooth and emulates that input as a native controller to USB to systems that support USB controllers. That, or it's magic. It could be magic. But even magic has limitations. It only works on the systems mentioned. You may not be able to wake a sleeping system with a paired controller, and PS5 games are currently hard-locked to real DualSense controllers only, so the adapter works on the PS5, but only for PS4 software. I was actually playing the PS4 version of Sackboy earlier. There are controller limitations too. Some controllers, like the Xbox 360 and first and second generation Xbox One controllers, while wireless, don't conform to the Bluetooth standard, so they can't be synced with the adapter. Other controllers may support Bluetooth, but unless they are listed as compatible, still won't sync. The R100 was only made to be compatible with certain modern controllers, and it's a shame. I really wanted to control my PS5 with my Ouya controller. Be certain to check and understand the compatibility charts provided by BigBig. All of these controllers are made with the same basic button configuration and use the same basic technologies, so it shouldn't be too surprising that a device like this can enable them to be cross-compatible, but I still find it very impressive. But each controller also has their own specific features that make them unique. Using a controller test utility made in PlayStation's Dreams, we can test how accurate the cross-emulation is, and also discover potential downsides to using non-native controllers. The Switch Pro controller is a very good fit for use on PlayStation systems. Even the motion sensing is handled flawlessly. But remember, Nintendo's controller doesn't have analog triggers, which could have an impact depending on what game you're playing. Meanwhile, the Xbox's triggers work well, but Xbox doesn't have motion sensing at all, and neither has Sony's touchpad or controller speaker, so be mindful of what a game requires before choosing to play it with an unsuitable controller. There are some unforeseen challenges to mixing controllers too. The Xbox One controller can't take captures on Switch as it's a button short, and the DualShock 4 and DualSense can both take Switch captures, but not with the share/create buttons. Those are mapped to minus. Captures are instead made by depressing the touchpad button, and the rumble interferes with the motion controls on these controllers on Switch. For a vast majority of games, this wouldn't be an issue, but on Super Mario Galaxy, for example, the Sony controllers rumble so much that the cursor can't be fully controlled. Especially with the DualSense, pointing to a point of interest or a menu option will cause the controller to shake, which pulls the cursor off the thing I'm aiming at. This nearly makes the game unplayable with these controllers, or at least creates a handicap. While I was testing, it was tricky to take back control if I swap sync to a new controller, sometimes requiring a console reboot to work, so it isn't advised to hot swap pairings, but that's fine because that's not the typical way you'd use this adapter. More commonly, you'd keep it paired to only one of your controllers. The adapter will actually keep its last pairing even when powered off or removed, so you could easily move from one system to the next, all the while using the same paired controller. Another odd point, BigBig 1's Elitist S controller easily pairs with the R100, but I couldn't get it to work right on any of these systems using this dongle. It's really strange. I actually got it working using one of the controller's 3 pairing modes, but the rumble motors are running the whole time, which is not ideal. Perhaps a future firmware update can get this sorted out. It would be nice to use this controller properly on Sony's systems. So, besides the neat factor, what practical use does the R100 actually serve? Well, even though I don't think I have a use for it, I have a couple of perfect scenarios in mind. As a multi-console gamer, I play on any number of different controllers, and I personally enjoy the variety. But perhaps one controller design is best for you and really is your favorite overall. The R100 adapter might be just the thing to let you take your preferred controller across platforms. Or maybe you have a console that you only have one controller for. The R100 is much less expensive than a second controller, and can enable you to repurpose a different controller you already own for some couch multiplayer. One specific way I've used it is for playing Tetris 99 and Pac-Man 99 on the Switch. For whatever reason, whenever I've played these games using the Xbox controller, I seem to do a bit better than using Nintendo's Pro Controller. Obviously, this is anecdotal evidence on games with a ton of randomness, but it really happens that way for me. So what do you think? Do you have ideas in mind for how you might use an R100 wireless adapter? If so, please share them in the comments. And if you want to know more, there are purchase links below. And if you want to know more about BigBig 1's products, remember I've also taken a look at their Elitist S controller for Switch. See how this controller stacks up to the Pro. Thank you for checking out this overview. I don't do a lot of product videos, but I find them a welcome challenge and hope I've been sufficiently informative. You can see some of the others I've done in the playlist on your screen. Thanks again, and take care.